Welcome to Super Bowl 59. We got a great show here today. We're going to talk all kinds of snark. We're going to talk all kinds of football stuff, and we're going to say more things that could maybe probably even make Cowboys fans cry into their VHS tapes from the 1990s.
That's right, Travis. Fat Pit. We've got Mahomes versus Hurts. We've got Chiefs versus Eagles. Kelce versus linebackers. We've got it all, and then some more. We've even got our good friend Nick joining us from Arizona with a backyard that's going to make every man have a single tear down the side of his cheek. So I'm actually really excited to see what Nick's got for us tonight.
Yeah, last week he had some amazing stuff. And also, Coach Sarge is 5-1 on his picks so far. So want to tune into that. That's going to be exciting. All this and more.
Oh, and we got halftime. We've got Super Bowl commercials and a bunch of other
Moser
fun
talking
shit.
stuff. Moser's sitting right there. This is going to be amazing, folks.
Yeah.
Episode 4 of the Fanbase.
Coming soon.
Coming now.
Coming now. That's what she said.
Get ready, sports fans. The Fanbase is here. It's the show where heartbreak meets hilarity. We're roasting your rivals. We're hyping the home team. And we're turning sports disaster into comedy gold with your hosts, Fat McAfee, Marty McDonald, the other fat guy, Travis Wright, and the bald guy, Steve Moser. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble, but don't fumble. It's the Fanbase. All right, here we are. This is the intro to this part of the show, but the food arrived.
Yeah.
Chappell's. This show is sponsored by Chappell's Sports Museum here in Kansas City. And what better way to start a show than to start off with their premium tenderloin sandwich? I think it's called Supreme Tenderloin.
Supreme. It is. Big time.
Look at this thing.
Got the hometown fried chicken sandwich with a little bit of buffalo sauce.
This thing looks delicious. I'm going to eat. Hey, cheers to you, Fat McAfee.
Cheers to you, Fat Pit.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wow.
Fat Pit's dainty. He had to have a sandwich cup for him. Real man eats a sandwich like this.
I didn't want shit to get everywhere, bro. Get ready to record the show, and I don't want it dripping all over my face.
Gotta eat fast.
Yeah.
And look, great food here at Chappell's Sports Museum and Restaurant in North Kansas City. If you haven't been here and you live in Kansas City, we don't care if you're a Chiefs fan or whoever fan, you got to get down to this place. It is an experience.
Yeah, the stuff on the walls here are so unbelievable. And the stuff about to go into my belly is pretty good, too. Lady and gentlemen, I assume we just have one lady watching our show so far?
We got
your mom?
ladies. Not my mom. I brought my wife to this one.
That's true.
So she's out there in the audience. Plus, we got all sorts of lovely people here at Chappell's.
That is true.
In North.
Faith is here. She's watching. That's good.
Faith is off screen. She's our awesome host here at Chappell's Sports Museum here in North Kansas City.
Your daughter Marley might even be watching.
My daughter Marley is here.
She's watching live right now.
She's embarrassed as all get out right now. So,
okay.
Hey,
all
welcome.
13 people are going to be very embarrassing.
Well, it was 12 and a half.
12.
We saw a small kid in a Tyree kill Dolphins jersey earlier, so
very nice.
It was actually kind of cool. But welcome to episode 4. It is, oh my God, we got breaking news while we're filming. Warriors acquired Jimmy Butler in a trade with the Heat.
Wow.
Who gives a shit?
Man.
Anyways.
That's pretty big.
This is national.
Warriors get Butler.
What?
Wow, that's pretty crazy.
Is it?
That is crazy, man. Well, considering they still got the remnants of their dynasty still there, so they could give them a little juice.
Yeah.
I think Butler and Curry could be fun.
I don't know. Ever since I got cut from the 8th grade basketball team, that sport's been dead to me. So that's why I always defer everything to Moser on basketball. But Travis, welcome to it's National Shower with a Friend Day.
Thank you.
Great way to kick off episode 4 of the Fanbase. So
I already took a shower by myself, though, so I don't need one. But thank you for the offer.
We still got time left in the day.
Yeah, it's good. We got all kinds of stuff here. So I'm Travis Wright. I'm one of your co-hosts. I am Fat Pit. We got Fat McAfee, and we got Bald Rudd over there as well. Let's see. We got a new cameraman. Look at this. Look at how fancy we are now. We got cameramen and camera women, and we got iPads. Dude, don't we look legit? Dude, we got cards.
We got cards.
We got cards that look. Dude, we're like almost like a real show.
We got pens.
Dude, I don't have a pen.
We've got cups with liquid in it.
It's exciting times, my friends. So, Super Bowl, huge. That's obviously the biggest news going on. We're going to talk about that. And also, I don't know that we were planning on talking about it, but that whole trade between Dallas and the Lakers was super crazy that just went down. Dude, that Luka had just signed a $15 million deal on a home?
Oh, wow.
He just signed it, dude, and he was crying whenever he's like, oh man, I gotta go to Los Angeles. They don't have any homes in Los Angeles.
My son was telling me that deal is costing him $117 million in a Supermax contract. Again, I know nothing about basketball, but that sounds like a lot of money to me, Travis. So,
right.
And it's really got to suck if you're a Dallas fan with the Mavericks. You lose Luka. You got the Cowboys. I've heard that there's been some crisis calls this week to those special numbers.
That is probably true. They did win a championship, though, not long ago, didn't they?
Who?
Didn't the Mavericks win?
Yeah, they probably did. But it's Dallas.
I think they did, didn't they?
It's fun to make fun of Dallas.
2000, that was the last time they won, so Luka doesn't have a ring.
No.
Ooh. Oh, yeah, jokish.
Yeah.
Jokish.
You know what, though? I guess it's not all smiles and glory holes in Dallas. So
I guess it's not. There's some sadness in there as well. That was off the beaten track there, but that's okay. So let's go in. And the 2024 NFL season was a little wild. There was a whole lot of things that went down, and here we are at the end of it with two friendly foes opposing each other.
And another Super Bowl rematch. To me, Travis, the 24 season was like the movie The Hangover. When Ed Helms wakes up in the bathroom, there's a jungle cat laying around. You don't know. You got a chicken. It was a long season. It was a long season for the Bears. It was a disappointing crashing in for the Lions fans. So what were some of your favorite moments from this year?
Well, it was just wild looking at it. I think, watching Saquon Barkley go ham, going almost 2,000 yards, and then them saying that he's not even really a viable MVP candidate. They would rather give another one to Lamar, right? I mean,
True.
Come on. At least give it to Josh. Don't give it to Lamar. Lamar hasn't done anything in the playoffs. How many playoff games has Lamar won? Maybe 3?
I don't know. I'm sure there's a statistician out there that could tell us how many.
I'm going to look right now. He's won two playoff. I'm going to see here. How many playoff games has he won?
Yeah, we could use our computer technology.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't have a
the
microphone
NFL also kind of played their hands with how they scheduled with those illustrious Thursday night games, but then saddling a bunch of teams with games in like the Chiefs, where you had to play 3 games inside of 10 days. So is it really about player safety? We always kind of wonder about that. But bringing things back to Lamar Jackson versus Josh Allen, it's a fun debate, right? They 2 great quarterbacks that had great years, but both just crumple like cheap toilet paper in the playoffs in big moments. And it's usually Lamar early in the playoffs, and then it's Josh in the title moments trying to get Buffalo to a Super Bowl. And I know that stings you Buffalo fans, but I'm sorry, but that's just how it is. And so both are great players, but they got to find a way to get over the hump. So maybe next year for them, who knows?
Maybe so. But Lamar, according to the stats that I just quickly pulled up so eloquently, he has a 3-5 record in the playoffs. Joe Burrow is 5-2, right? Lamar is actually, I guess Lamar is 3-6 now because he's 0-3 versus the Chiefs in the playoffs and 0-3 versus the Bills in the playoffs.
Wow.
So he normally loses to one of them. I think that's right. So the record here says 3-5. We're not former athletes that have a big, long, huge research department. That's what Perplexity just pulled up. So
that's good. I think one of the other fun things, though, for me personally, and one of these days I want to go to one of these international games. So it's kind of fun to see the NFL go into Madrid. I'd like to see them go back to Mexico City because that Chiefs-Rams game, that was a fun one from a few years ago.
But dude, that wasn't in Mexico City, was it? Was they actually got it? They ended up moving it to the Coliseum because there was an earthquake or something went down, or there was something weird with the field.
I forgot about that.
But this season actually started off in Brazil with the Eagles, and then I think Saquon immediately dropped down 2 or 3 tutties to start the season off.
He did, and then going back to Madrid, it was at Santiago Bernabeu Stadion, so Estadio de Football in Madrid. So, but yeah, it was a great season. I think just a lot of the guys.
Yeah.
I don't know what I was going to try to say there.
Well, you like talking trash on the Bengals, and the Bengals offense had a stupendous season. Like the best. I mean, Burrow was amazing. Jamar Chase, amazing. Like the most. Like their offense was spectacular. Their defense just giving it up.
Their defense is probably the biggest letdown in Cincinnati.
Yeah, they're giving it up like it was prom night.
So, yeah, the 24 season, here we are, and now Goodell wants to add another game to it next year, Travis. I don't know how you feel about that.
Well, I think they're going to still keep the same amount of games total, but 2 of them are going to be preseason games, and then they'll have 18 regular season games is what it would seem. You don't need to have more games. Just have more games mean more, right? I mean, I think we're going to probably start seeing more inter-squad practices. Like a lot of times when the Chiefs were in Wisconsin.
Up in River Falls.
Yeah, they would always have like a little scrimmage with the Vikings, and sometimes
they did it with the Saints one year. Yeah. So, but yeah, here we are. We're just a couple days away as we film from Super Bowl LIX.
Yeah, Super Bowl LIX. What do you think, Mo? What do you think about the season this year?
It's kind of fun to see the new batch quarterback. The guy on the Broncos.
Oh, Bo Nix.
Commanders, Daniels.
Jaden Daniels, talk about him.
More teams have their quarterback for the future than not, almost. That seems like it.
Yeah, and then the Cowboys still have Dak.
Yeah.
And they paid him more money than anybody in the league. Like Dak is like he was making $55-something million a year, and he's Dak.
Yeah. He is absolutely the most overrated quarterback in the entire
Dak
NFL.
is a synonym for ass.
It is. So speaking of ass, let's go into our Super Bowl previews, and let's talk about the Eagles. Was that a good segue?
I don't know. There's a lot.
I don't
know. I'll tell you what. There's some big old boys on the offensive line of the Eagles, and that's one of the things that concerned me the most when I'm looking at this. And I put a post up on Chiefs Planet about it. Is like, how do you stop Barkley? I mean, this dude, the freaking line is so huge, and I think that Barkley's never had that. These guys are so good and proficient at blocking, and they pull, and the guards pull out, and he just opens up, and then Barkley just goes, choo, choo, choo. Dude, they handed off to the ball one time, the first handoff in that NFC Championship game, gone, touchdown. And he got 3 touchdowns. He's got 5 touchdowns so far in the playoffs. And he's averaging a ton of yards per carry. So it's like, how do we stop him as a Chiefs defense?
The Chiefs defense can't stop Barkley. It's just going to be a cold, hard fact. But what we can do is slow him. And I think Spags is going to have some designs with not only our interior run defense, but how we're going to play a little bracket backside coverage just to slow him down. And I think what that's really going to do, it's going to force Trent McDuffie and Jalen Watson to guard against A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith a lot more and force the Eagles to win on the right arm of Jalen Hurts. So why don't we get into some of the other the key matchups that we got here?
Let's do it. I think that's completely fascinating. For me, it's always been, how does the offensive line and Saquon, how do we stop them? That's the one thing for me, because we know Mahomes has been in this situation time and time again. It's almost like when a lot of people get into stressful situations, what do? Their heartbeat rises. They get a little freaked out. They get a little concerned. But, dude, Mahomes has been in this scenario. Like, if Mahomes wins this, if they win, the Chiefs win, then he has the second most wins of any quarterback in playoff history. It'll be number 19, I believe.
It's insane. Absolutely insane.
Dude, and this is his 7th year starting. Every year, his worst performance, I think, was the AFC Championship up 21-3 versus the Bengals, and they come back to win. Like, that's his very worst playoff game.
It is, and so I think when we get into this game, I think it starts for me with both the Eagles' defensive line and the Chiefs' offensive line.
Okay.
Because our line has allowed a little bit of pressure, but Mahomes is getting rid of the ball in record time, less than 2 seconds usually on a drop back. But how are we going to go against Jalen Carter? What are your thoughts there?
Well, I think that Kareem Hunt is going to have to pull some stuff out, because now from the statistics that I pulled up, the Eagles have it's like the number 1 or number 3 defense against against passing, and then overall it's number 1, and then against passing. And so they're notorious for stopping the pass, man. And so they said they very rarely do they allow more than 240 yards passing by a QB. And so this is going to be like, boom, the rubber's going to meet the road on this one.
It is, and I think Carter is one of the better run defenders out there. He's got a 25% run disruption rate, which is tops in the NFL. But some breaking news here today, because we're shooting on Wednesday. Jalen Carter didn't practice today for the Eagles. He had an undisclosed illness, so it could be the New Orleans or the Bourbon Street flu. It could be something else, but it remains to be seen how Carter's going to be. But I would imagine he's going to suit up. There's no way he's not going to play.
He's not going to miss the Super Bowl. Are you serious? Here are some interesting stats from the game coming up. Mahomes versus the no-fly zone. Eagles said ranked 3rd in passing yards allowed, and so that's going to be tough. And the D-line is great at pressuring quarterbacks, but not converting those to sacks. So what happens when Mahomes gets pressured? He normally rolls out, and I think we'll see Mahomes with 40 to 50 yards rushing, with at least a touchdown scored from him rushing, because they're going to try to flush him out, and then if Jalen Carter's not 100%, he's going to have better wheels probably, right?
That's true. I think also Creed Humphrey's going to have the game of his life. Creed's had a hell of a season. When you look at offensive linemen, one of the biggest things is their pressure rate, right? And Creed Humphrey in all games this year has allowed the highest in a single game at 9.5%, which is against Madubuike from the Ravens. So Creed knows how to shut down elite talent. So that could be the neutralizer that frees up Mahomes for that extra half second to find an open Juju Smith-Schuster for a random big play that keeps the chains moving.
And having Joe Thuney move over to still be at left tackle, I think that him coming on really solidified the line, because we've not seen the problems that we had before. And it's almost like Jamal Taylor has even stopped with his overt problems that he was having, like jumping off the line too quick and stuff.
Jawan Taylor.
Jawan.
We call him JJ here at the Fanbase.
I call him, what? Taylor again?
Yeah,
What the hell's
right?
the problem, bro?
Oh, man.
Line up correctly. What are you doing, you effing idiot? Something like that is what I normally ends up being said. But the Eagles' run D is a suspect, so we could see Kareem and Pacheco
And
doing a
Samaje
little bit of something. Oh yeah, but P. Ryan normally is he's a receiving back. He normally gets the ball.
I think every year, it seems like every Chiefs Super Bowl win, there's been an unsung hero emerge out of the running back. Darrell Williams,
Yep.
for example. And so
Jarek.
Damian
People named
Williams.
Jarek McKinnon.
Jarek McKinnon. So maybe it is P. Ryan that just makes that magic play. We won't know. But I do think from a defensive side for us, Trent McDuffie, the spotlight's going to be on him, because you've got Devonta Smith and you got A.J. Brown. And one of the things, in doing a little research for this segment here, is McDuffie is actually first in burn yards allowed per target at just 7.9. That's shut down.
So he's pretty locked down. He's got his own island. Does he have an island yet? McDuffie, is it a peninsula?
It's a peninsula.
Does he have a toll? Something?
You got Watson Island. Yeah.
Okay.
You got to take a ferry to go over there.
That's good. So, I think this is wild, though. The Eagles are rushed for 232 yards and 7 touchdowns against the Commanders. That is a whole lot of freaking... Dude, the score was insane. And so now I do think, Marty, that they're going to feel a little more overconfident about the run. I think they're feeling like, dude, we're going to go ham.
Oh, 100%.
So it's going to be up to the Chiefs to have to do it. If we could have the first drive where they get the ball and we just kind of stuff him, that could be good. Now, there were some really good comments on Chiefs Planet about how do you stop him, and some says, well, in the first half, you kind of let him run. Don't give him the big one, but let him run a little bit. That way, in the second half, they're not going to be accustomed to passing as much, because, Hurts, he's got a good arm. He's not a bad quarterback, but you think if a running back puts up 2,000 yards rushing, well, you don't need to throw as much.
No, you don't.
Right?
And Hurts isn't healthy either, and I know that he threw up some big numbers against Washington, but this is a different defense.
Yeah.
So let's get to the big matchup.
Oh, wow. Check this out, though. In the playoffs, the Chiefs have not allowed a 100-yard rusher since 2020.
Oh.
So if I was betting on DraftKings or something, I'd probably bet the over on that one.
Or Underdog Sports.
Yeah, Underdog Sports. Any of those deals.
Future sponsor of this episode, apparently. But the big matchup, everybody's favorite, Mr. Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce, against the Eagles linebacker. And I'm telling you right now, this game will come down to this matchup between Travis Kelce and linebacker Zach Braun. Zach Braun has just had a hell of a season. He's been shutting down linebackers left and right. And so Kelce's going to have his hand, not only his work cut out for him, chipping against the Eagles' D-line, but he's got to figure out a way to get past Bond and create some space and sit down in the middle and wreak havoc. That's going to be a big matchup.
I think that's really where the creativity of Andy Reid comes in. Like, right there at the very end of the game there versus the Bills, they did a trips out. And what was really interesting is they had Pirine over here back, and then these trips came out. They went over into the center of the field, and the linebacker that was supposed to get on Pirine was essentially picked. And he was like blocked out, and so he could, boom, get it over to Pirine, easy first down, boom. So I think we're going to see creative things happening from the Chiefs offense because historically, I think over the course of this season, we haven't seen a lot of those crazy, Andy Reid trickstery plays. He's pulling back something from the 1952 Rose Bowl. We haven't seen that. I would not be surprised to see a couple of those crazy plays being dropped this game. And those are, last time, Corn Dog, he did it twice.
He did?
Right? So what's he going to do this time? And before that, he had the Wasp, and he had this, so they're always hitting interesting plays.
We've got the corn dog play that has been updated, so we're curious to see that. And Chiefs fans, Sky Moore was a limited participant in practice today, so maybe we're seeing the return of Sky Moore, as I've called him for his entire career in Kansas City. Why Moore?
Why Moore? Get him out.
So
that's
there
true.
it is, Travis. Those are the matchups.
Maybe they'll call it like the Italian beef sandwich or something after Nick Farrar. He'll be all like
the hoagie. But that's it. That's the matchup. So look, if it doesn't work out, don't come crying to us because you blew all your rent money on a bad 5-legged parlay. Make sure you listen to Coach Sarge.
Let's go into Coach Sarge right now. So Coach Sarge, last week, not a lot of big games going on, and with basketball happening, the spreads and stuff come out, the odds come out, pop, 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 pop.
Yeah.
And so we'll start doing shorts for those. But right now, Coach Sarge is 5-1 on his public-facing picks, which is pretty stupendous. And then with his picks that he's been doing for basketball, last time he did those, he won 10 and lost 2. He was 10-2 on those. So you're going to want to tune into those. So if you like what's going on, you like sports betting, you like some of that, you're going to want to tune in. Start paying attention to some of those shorts because we're going to drop Coach Sarge shorts along the way, not just on these main segments.
We're dropping his shorts?
We're going to drop his shorts
in
front of everyone.
This is a family show.
Welcome back, Fanbase. Super Bowl 59. Ooh, if you're a football fan, this is your favorite weekend of the year. I love this weekend. I hate that I have to wait 2 weeks to get there. And they put the Pro Bowl in between there. If it was the old Pro Bowl, I'd be okay with it. But we said which two teams would be here. We said that the Chiefs and the Eagles, and I called it right. Not to mention, if you followed my picks, you went 2-0 last week, or 2 weeks ago, excuse me, which puts us to 5-1 in our short span with the fan base. But I've got some great picks for you this weekend. There's actually 4 picks. We're going to go through them, a couple of player props, and a couple of bets on the game. My take on the Chiefs is Patrick Mahomes is one of the greatest, if not the greatest quarterback of all time. Jalen Hurts, a phenomenal quarterback, yet to prove himself by winning the Super Bowl. But I think this year is going to be a really, really good game. But I don't see the high scoring because Buffalo's defense was awful. But they had a great offense. The Chiefs have a great defense, but they still scored a lot of points. So what I'm going to tell you is, here's my picks. First, I'm going to give you a teaser. This way, if you're an Eagles fan and you want to bet on something, I wouldn't take the Eagles outright with the point. I would tease it. That's right, tease it. Right now, the line is 1 or 1.5, depending on which sports book you're going with. So I'm going to suggest that you take the Eagles and tease them and get them up to 7.5. So that means you get 6 points plus the 1.5 gives you 7.5. So more than a touchdown. The Chiefs don't beat people by more than 7 very often. The other side of that teaser is the total. Super Bowls sometimes tend to be high scoring, but I just don't see it in this. I think that it's going to be ball control. I think Barkley's going to run the ball. The Chiefs will try to run the ball with Kareem Hunt. I think that Pacheco will be a little more effective than he will. We'll see as the game goes along. But I would tease that to under 55. Right now, the over and under is 49. So I would tease it 6 points, which means it goes up 5 points or 6 points, which would give you under 55. So if the Chiefs or if the Eagles stay within 7.5 points and it's under 55, that would make you a winner. All right? Now, I still think the Chiefs are going to win the game. And right now they're 1 or 1.5. I would bet the Chiefs and give up the points. I would not tease the Chiefs and do it that way because I just wouldn't do it. I would do the 1 point, give the point up, and take the Chiefs. Same way with the total. As far as the total goes, I would go, even though we teased it up to 55, I still think it's going to be under 49. I have a 24-17 final with the Chiefs winning, which would make you win both of those bets, and you win your Chiefs bet, and you win your under. Now, we haven't done player props. They're pretty exciting to do, but they're so hard to hit. They're so hard to hit. Some of them have better odds than the other. You can take some long shots that Mahomes is going to throw for 400 yards, and yes, that'll pay you a lot more money. But the smart bet that I'm giving you today, the 2 smart bets, is I want Kareem Hunt under 43.5 yards. I think the Eagles have a great defensive front, and I think that he's not going to have that kind of game. Now, I told you Pacheco, I think he's like over 22. You could also bet that because I think he has a better game than Kareem Hunt does. My last prop that I want to give you is, everybody knows that A.J. Brown is the guy for the Eagles. They throw to him more than anybody. Well, Spags, the D coordinator for the Chiefs, he's going to take him away, which that means that probably Devontae Smith is going to have a good game. I don't know if he's going to break out of order, but I think he gets 5 receptions. He's a slot receiver. It's an easy target for somebody. So I'm going to tell you that my other bet would be to bet for Devontae Smith to have over 5 receptions. But whatever you want, I just hope it's an exciting game. Don't want to see any blowouts unless maybe it's the Chiefs. But I don't know exactly when we're going to be back on our next picks, but we're going to come back and do some consulting, maybe do some NBA basketball. So try to stay tuned, and we'll see you next time.
But hey, for all you folks out there that think the Chiefs games are rigged, I'm going to give you a little bit of sound advice. Stop complaining and take your house money and go put it on the Chiefs, because if it's rigged, it's got to be the most sure bet thing out there, right?
And I got our MVP's jersey for the week here, which is pretty solid right there. So I'm feeling pretty confident about our chances. I mean, this right here is the official one, and the official one will be updated with the Super Bowl logo right here. This is the one from the AFC Championship game. So we swapped jerseys with them, and it's pretty good. I'm pretty impressed with that. So we're pleased how that's going to work out. So if you're tired of the flags, just too bad. You can cry about it all you want.
All right, welcome back to our favorite segment, If These Walls Could Talk, sponsored by Chapel's Sports Museum and Restaurant right here in North Kansas City. It's a piece of history. Every square inch of this place is awesome.
Well, there's one little spot right there that could probably put something right here.
We could.
Probably put
we got a little gap right here.
Yeah, it's true. There's probably something back there. Just space it.
We could do that.
But no, this whole place is like this, cram-packed full of amazing goodness. And so we're going to say this, and we're going to say, if these walls could talk, what would be more important than Super Bowl IV? Yeah. And there's some really cool memorabilia here. So let's step into the time machine. Let's get in the DeLorean, and let's rewind back to Super Bowl IV with the Minnesota Vikings.
It was a chilly winter afternoon on a Sunday in 1969, Super Bowl IV, when your Kansas City Chiefs took on the Minnesota Vikings at Tulane Stadium in New Orleans, Louisiana.
New Orleans?
Well, it was the 69 season in 1970.
That's true.
But it's interesting. The site of the Chiefs' first ever Super Bowl win is where we now come back to possibly grab the first ever NFL three-peat. But that game was special, Travis. What were some of the things that you liked about it?
Well, I liked that I was not born yet. I liked that I was still probably in my father's gonad.
I'm not sure how to follow that up. But as
I wasn't born yet, but I have watched the highlights, as you are seeing right here. Otis Taylor did a 46-yard tutty. They didn't call them tutties then, but I call it that now. Dude caught the ball, broke a tackle, and ran like he was late to catch a flight.
Yep. We've got Johnny Robinson's interception. The Vikings thought they could throw deep. Nope, didn't work out.
I thought he was drunk that day too. I heard like drunk the night before or something. I might be wrong on that one, but he did pretty good.
That was back in the NFL.
Wait, no, that was Max. What's his face for the Green Bay Packers who had gotten super drunk the night before. Didn't think he was going to play in Super Bowl I. He got super drunk, and then like he ended up playing and getting 2 touchdowns.
I think it's happened in every Super Bowl.
Probably so.
But you know, as you look and see some of the cool footage that Chapels has here on the walls from Super Bowl IV, this really was the last time that the Vikings have been this close to a Super Bowl, right?
They had a 15-1 team one year, right?
But they just couldn't get it done in the playoffs.
In the NFC Championship game.
Yeah, with Moss and Culpepper. Really close. But they just always seem to sort of choke. And so don't choke. And, here's the thing that's also crazy was, the Bills were the last, in 1993, I guess January of 94, the Chiefs played at Buffalo. And then they beat us, and then they went to the Super Bowl, and that was the last time of their 4 Super Bowls in a row. And so that's karma, because what should have happened was the Bills should have let Joe Montana and Derek Thomas and those guys go to a Super Bowl, and then maybe we would have let you win one of these 4 times you played the Chiefs.
That's true. But yes, so if these walls could talk, brought to you by Chapel Sports Bar and Museum here in North Kansas City, home of a ton of Chief stuff and great Super Bowl IV memories.
Super Bowl. Some people don't care about Super Bowl. Some people really care about Super Bowl. A lot of people only care about the Super Bowl for the commercials.
That's right, Travis. And this year alone for Super Bowl LIX or Super Bowl LIX, advertisers are spending anywhere from $7 to $9 million for 30 seconds to 60 seconds of your time.
$79 million.
It's insane. And I was actually looking at an advertiser report to see the actual amount of money that is being spent on just the production. We are well into the billions on this, but it brings back a favorite memory. Some of the best Super Bowl commercials that we remember. Travis, what was one of your favorites?
Well, I think one of the very first ones that I remember was the Mean Joe Green Coca-Cola one. Like that one was iconic. I remember seeing that one when I was a kid, and that one stuck out to me. I was like, whoa. That football player guy is really huge, but he's really nice, right? And it kind of made me, I was like, oh, the Steelers are kind of cool, right? I don't know.
So a Coke and a smile.
That was the first one very first one that I ever remember is that particular commercial. But funny commercials, let's talk about funny commercials. And when you're starting off talking about Super Bowl commercials, what was funnier than, what is that, Office Tate? What was that, Tate? Super Bowl, was the linebacker?
Terry Tate. Office linebacker.
Office linebacker. Let's watch some of this right here. This is hilarious.
Oh, man.
This dude, he just tackling people, dude, in the office, which is just such a hilarious thing.
Right? And everybody.
What was one of your favorite ones, Moser, when he was...
Oh, from this guy?
Yeah, from Terry Tate.
Probably with somebody playing solitaire, and then they look around when they leave their cubicle, make sure nobody saw. But Terry Tate saw.
Brunch.
Yeah. So what is so funny is I don't remember if this was the first one that was launched, but dude, we just looked on YouTube. There's 20 minutes worth of a Terry Tate linebacker, office linebacker commercials. 20 minutes of that. So that tells me at least 40 different commercials that they did. Like that's quite a nice career.
It is. It's a great campaign. And really what's memorable about it is it left the Super Bowl in that moment and just leaked into everyday life. It became something that everybody would make fun of at work. And
I started tackling people at the office, dude. I was like, get out of my way with that weak ass.
Yeah. And anytime someone would have the coffee pot that was empty, it'd be like, everybody knows when you kill the Joe, you got to make some mo.
Oh, yeah. I'm like, hell no, I ain't getting you these TPS reports.
Yeah.
Pioneers, though, in the 70s, Miller Lite had the taste great, merciless.
Oh, yeah, those were good.
At the beginning of
And that's the
commercial.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's those Super Bowl commercials, like the Bob Uecker and stuff. I remember like the Dick Butkus was doing those, and some of those, right?
The Miller Lite.
Bob Uecker and Rodney Dangerfield were the 2 main characters.
We'll have to go into the archives and future reference for some of those, but for sure. What's another one, Fat McAfee, that you think is good?
What's up? That was back in the day when Bud Light actually made A, good beer, and B, good commercials. But then you've got the what's up guys, but then what about the frogs? Bud. Why?
Yeah, those are really good.
Those are fun.
I love the Budweiser ones, like the real man of genius. Like those are
Those are hilarious.
so many of those. Like there's just like if you go look on YouTube, there's also just dozens of minutes worth of those songs, and they're just so funny. And actually, they took a guy who was from like a famous rock band. Was the guy who was the real man of genius? I don't know, it was like Journey or something, but it was somebody from one of those.
Yeah, just one of those hair bands. But
Yeah.
here's to you, Mr. Crypto Investor, Super AI dorky guy with glasses.
Yeah,
Him.
that's right. There's one too. You put down Betty White Snickers. I don't think I remember this one at all.
Oh, you don't remember this one? Oh, this is the classic
Okay, let's
Snickers
watch
one.
this one.
Bunch of guys are out playing football at the park, and one guy's kind of being an old, slow little bitch. And his guy.
Dude, you just type in Betty. It says Betty White Snickers commercial. Like,
Yeah.
dude, Betty White was so hot when she was younger. Like,
She still is.
my goodness. I saw like some film footage from her from like the 50s or something. I was like,
She the
what?
Betty.
She was like brunette. She was looking good.
What else you got, Moser? From
It says the lead singer for the Real Men of Genius campaign is the lead singer for Survivor.
For Survivor. Okay.
Tiger. So that's
I- the Tiger
there you
guy.
go. There you go. There's your footage.
That is a hilarious commercial right there. I
It
love
is.
that
So
one.
we're going to see some hilarious commercials in this weekend's Super
Yeah.
Bowl. One of the ones I'm actually looking forward to, and it's kind of cheesy, but is Meg Ryan and Billy Crystal reenacting the famous orgasm scene from the diner in New York, and they're going to be promoting Hellman's mayonnaise. So Hellman's, congratulations for towing the line
Wow.
and bringing back an iconic movie scene
Yeah.
into something that's hilarious.
Yeah. Can we
Um,
recognize Meg Ryan anymore? Because she's got so much like Botox and stuff. You can't even tell. Is it her?
She looked like prime. Yeah, I saw.
She look pretty good?
She does.
Okay.
And she did a really good job in this scene. So I was.
No, that was
I
a
have
really
to-
hilarious scene back in the day. You know, I thought was really funny the pre-Super Bowl commercial for Doritos, and then there were all the Chiefs players were in there, and then Chris Jones was like, "Well, my favorite one is the one that didn't have Patrick Mahomes in it." And they're like, "Oh, whoa, a commercial without Patrick Mahomes? That is rare."
That is rare. And they're talking about guys with Super Bowl experience, and there was Xavier Worthy taking notes. So,
Yeah.
But yeah, it should be a great slate of NFL commercials during the Super Bowl. So make sure, like in our streams, guys, in comments, you tell us your favorite Super Bowl commercials that you've liked.
Oh yeah,
We'd love
link
to
to
hear from
YouTube in the comments there, and we'll cover some of those. We'll watch those
Yeah.
in future segments. And leading up to the next segment is, so we cover the Super Bowl, famous Super Bowl. We looked at some memorabilia around here, talked about commercials. What about halftime shows?
Oh my goodness. That for the common viewer, the halftime show is why the wives stick around, and some of the men, but it's always like an iconic moment, right? And even as bad as the Black Eyed Peas were in 2011, it was still an iconic piece of shit performance.
I was thinking about this, and we're gonna list some of them. Should we go in reverse order?
We should. Let's go in reverse order so
go
we can
5-1.
with the Hall of Fame
Yeah. Okay.
halftime performance ever.
Mm.
You go first. Pick one.
Okay, so, well, there are. I'll tell you this. I'm looking at some of the lists here. There are some specific ones on here, but I'll say that. Wow, who would I say would be number 5 on this list? Let's do the honorable mentions. I loved seeing Dr. Dre and Eminem and 50 Cent. I thought that was one of my favorite ones. Like,
That was a great
not the best one, but I would say it's in the list of top 5 more so than number 5 we have on the list.
Yeah, and it brought back the boomers, because that's what we grew up when we listened. Yeah, we were hardcore back in the day, and it was great to hear those guys
Dude, that's
again.
going to be happening in the old folks' homes, the retirement homes. Are going to be like, sipping on gin and juice.
Yeah, I'm literally gonna walk
Because
out of
I
my
ain't got no tooths.
right. I'm gonna walk out of my room in my walker to Dre Day's theme song. What about? I'll go with an honorable mention.
Okay.
When Janet Jackson's boobie made an appearance because Justin Timberlake grabbed the wrong thing.
Right, which was probably the right thing, because who has such fancy, accoutrements just randomly on the boob?
Yeah,
Like, dude, that thing was like a star kind of a thing that was like connected with like with a boob ring, like that. Come on,
Well,
And they were like, "Oh, it was a what do they call it?
a wardrobe malfunction.
Wardrobe malfunction." No. That was the real thing, folks. It was kind of crazy though to be watching that and the titty just pop out.
Yeah, and it sounds like Travis is spending an inordinate amount of time rewatching that clip.
I fast forwarded that. I rewound it.
Yeah. How about Left Shark with Katy Perry? That was wild.
I didn't really care about that one, but it did become a huge meme. Like Jennifer Lopez. Is that the one? Oh, no, that's a different one.
Yeah, Shakira back in when the Super Bowl was in Miami.
Yeah.
Chiefs and 49ers. And
J-Lo.
And J-Lo.
Shakira, that was good. Right? But, dude, I was so nervous on that one because weren't we down at halftime?
We were.
And so I was just like, I find that it's probably a little more difficult to enjoy the halftime when your team's in it and if your team is behind. So my son Jarek and I, we went to the Super Bowl in Phoenix and we saw Rihanna. And I'll say this, that wasn't a great Super Bowl performance, but oh my God, the technology was amazing. The floating stairs that was doing all this
really
stuff,
cool.
It was insane. I couldn't even believe it. I was like, wow, it was pretty spectacular. But that's not that's not on the list.
But what would be, and I know we're working our way up to kind of what you and I agreed on was our Hall of Fame Super Bowl halftime moment, but how about that U2 one? That was emotional.
Well, I would say the U2 one right after 9/11, right? And then the Patriots, that was their first Super Bowl in their dynasty, wasn't it? It was. Maybe it was their, yeah.
Yeah, it was 2002.
Yeah, 2001.
But they opened up with "The Streets Have No Name."
Yeah.
And they had this giant floating banner, and it had all the names of those who perished on those flights that crashed into the World Trade Center.
And then he would open up his jacket, and it had that one was very, it was
emotional.
That was very emotional, right? And that one kind of made me think the NFL might be rigged because the Patriots win it all. And then the Yankees win the World Series that year too. Like it was almost like, give them a bone, guys.
No, that was the Diamondbacks.
The Diamondbacks won, yeah.
Luis Gonzalez, a little bloop single.
Oh, man, yeah.
A little chingadero into the outfield did the trick. But
all right, you got number 3 on the list, Beyonce. A lot of people would agree with that. That wouldn't be in my top 5, but I do think it was a pretty tremendous one, culturally speaking.
Yeah, and I think it also shut down the power at the Superdome when it happened.
Dude.
That was the power outage.
That was the power outage there also in New Orleans.
Also
that was the 49ers Ravens Super Bowl that year.
Yeah.
I was at that. Actually, I was working with Norton and Symantec at the time, and we were hosting the ESPN Next party the Saturday before the Super Bowl, and we gave out yellow glasses that were Norton antivirus, and I got to get up on stage and introduce CeeLo Green in front of all I was like, dude, there's Gronk. Oh, look at those. Look at all. There's like all kinds of NFL players all around. It was crazy, dude.
That is nuts. You were telling me.
I was like, fuck you.
Michael Jackson, you mentioned that one earlier today.
Dude, I would say, so these right here would, I could easily flip them. I could flip them because the Michael Jackson one was the very first time that like a major celebrity came out and did it. And I think it was at the Rose Bowl, if I'm not mistaken, because when he came on, and then like he had clones popping up on all 4 corners. It was like, and they would pop up and he would be there, and then he popped up from the main stage. Like it was really cool. And this was like what,
93.
It was 93.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. I would probably have this one number 1 if Prince at number 1, if it hadn't rained. When it was raining and he was playing like Purple Rain, and oh my God, that is so amazing.
Yeah, and that is our number 1. That's our halftime Hall of Fame is
Look at this
Prince.
right here. Watch this, dude. This is spectacular.
Yeah, and we're just gonna shut up for a minute and let this one play out. So Prince, take us back to 2007, Miami Dolphins Stadium, Colts Bears in the rain. This guitar solo is fucking amazing.
Dude, is this Purple Rain? It looks just like regular rain.
I mentioned too, when Michael Jackson came out in the middle of the stage, he was just standing there doing nothing.
90 seconds.
Yeah.
They were just cheering? Yeah, they were just
nothing.
like,
yeah.
Dude, that was I think that was a Dallas Bills Super Bowl. The Michael Jackson one.
Was it into 94 or was it 93?
It was 93 Super Bowl XXV7.
Yeah. So it probably would have been, Bills would have been in it. That's what's always weird when they say, "Oh, it was a Super Bowl in '93." Like, well, no, really, it's no. Actually, no. That Super Bowl in 2013, yeah, that was January of 2013, so that would have been in that year. So it wasn't that season. That's what's always kind of weird about the NFL. All right.
So as we've seen with that awesome guitar solo from Prince, the Super Bowl has given us great moments from not only commercials to spectacle halftime performances. And it's a great segue into what's become a crowd favorite in after 3 episodes, and now we're into 4, but it's Moser's Moments. So, Steve, what you got for us, big guy?
All right, today's moments in sports history for early February. We've got 2 Super Bowls and an NBA All-Star game. February 3rd of 2008, so that was 17 years ago, I guess. Super Bowl 42. Oh man, this makes you feel old.
It does. That was that long ago?
In this Super Bowl, Tom Petty was the halftime.
Really?
I don't know if you didn't have that one on your top 5.
That wasn't on the list.
Maybe that should be honorable mention. This Super Bowl was the New England Patriots were coming in at 18-0.
Oh,
They
yeah.
went 16-0 in the regular season, which had never been done. Actually, the 72 Dolphins went 14-0.
Right.
And then they won the Super Bowl.
So the Dolphins went 17-0 to win the
Right.
Super Bowl, and actually, the Patriots were 18-0 going into the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Technically, now, whenever those old farts play, 18-1 and 17-0,
Still not undefeated.
maybe not.
It's almost like it would be detrimental to be undefeated. Like, if the Chiefs had beaten the Bills, then it would have been, oh, we're undefeated. Oh, all that extra pressure that just keeps
Yeah,
compounding.
that's true. Yeah, you're probably better being like 15-2.
Yeah, you don't have the social media in 1972, you know?
So
Thank God.
I don't know how well you guys remember this. This is actually the first Super Bowl where neither team rushed for 100 yards. So that was a little interesting. There was not very much offense the entire first 3 quarters. It was 7-3 New England after 3 quarters. But then during the 4th quarter, both teams scored every time they had the ball, and it just turned into a seesaw battle. And it looked like New England was going to win. They got a touchdown with 2:42 remaining to take a 14-10 lead. But then the Giants came back and had a touchdown drive, scored a touchdown with 35 seconds left. Mm-hmm. And on the touchdown drive, they had a 3rd and long play.
Take a look at this play and watch how insane this play
It
is.
really was.
And so, yeah, if he doesn't catch this, then it's 4th down. They probably have to punt. So
It was long, too. It was like 3rd and long. Like, how long? 20?
yeah,
It was pretty significant down in distance. What I remember about this Super Bowl, I was at a buddy's house and probably had a little too much fun stuff, and the game was boring, and I fell asleep in the couch, and we're just gonna go home and watch the rest of it at the house. Basically go sleep it off. But instantly, holy shit, the Patriots are gonna actually come back and.
So
do
you
this.
didn't leave?
No, we left.
Oh, you left.
But I just went back and had the holy shit moment at my house.
That's good. That reminds me of when I went to the 2014 Kansas City Royals wildcard game, and Ned brings in Yordano Ventura, and then he gives up that 3-run home run, I believe it was, and then it's 7-2. And I was in standing room only seats, so my seats were horrible. And I remember walking out, and I talked to the person at the door, and I was like, "If you could do me a favor and give this to Ned." And then I went home and watched the game with my son and daughter, and they came back to win the most unbelievable, the best game in Royals history. And I was there for the shitty part.
A bunch of us were in Chicago on business, and we were at a hotel bar watching that game. And we actually, I guess that hotel bar was like a DoubleTree or something, downtown Chicago, wanted to close early. But the bartender's like, "I'm too invested in this game now because of you guys." And so,
Right.
we
That
kept
was, I hope you tipped that guy good.
Oh, we
Probably-
did.
that was a
We
good day.
took care of him.
That was nice.
What else you got over there?
Well, for the New England Patriots, they would be distraught. Oh, this Super Bowl we should have won, we didn't. Well, to cancel that out, you have to fast forward 9 years to February 5th of 2017 to Super Bowl 51, which should have been won by the Atlanta Falcons.
Big time. Totally should have been one. Oh my God.
Yep.
They were ahead 28-3 in the middle of the 3rd quarter.
Gosh, dude.
Mm.
Clinging to life.
Think about that. He doesn't come back on that one. That's just one less Super Bowl that, Mahomes has to try to get
Yeah, exactly. Or how about the Super Bowl they won after the Chiefs were offside?
Yeah. Oh, man. Dude, think about that. How
Thanks a
close
lot,
we are
D
to having
Ford.
to go to 7 Super Bowls in a row. Like, we're just a couple of overtime games from going in.
We are. We're a D Ford nose hair away from being there.
Oh,
Both-
man.
They converted both 2-point conversions that they needed. Then, of course, they won the toss.
Oh, man.
Well, don't forget about the bullshit Chris Jones roughing the passer penalty that Tom Brady got. So I don't want to hear that the Chiefs games are rigged.
Right.
people.
Yeah, Brady got all those calls too back in the day.
Yeah.
You know, that is so wild. And you know who the offensive coordinator was? Kyle Shanahan. What is it about Kyle Shanahan in big moments that he just can't seem to make it happen?
He really can't.
I mean, what is the deal? Like, this is some serious choke jobs, dude. He's been to 2 Super Bowls, lost both of them to us, and then he was at another Super Bowl with the Falcons and completely collapsed.
Collapsed.
Is that on you, Shanahan?
I don't know. Sounds like a future episode for next season.
Yeah, suck it, Shanahan.
Yeah.
Now, I got a little bit of basketball here, not all football.
Was that a pun?
A little bit of basketball. I don't know how you guys remember that you were maybe junior high kids or not. But February 8th, 1986 slam dunk contest, Spud Webb at 5'7" beats his teammate, who's an entire foot taller than him at 6'7", Dominique.
Wilkins. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
He was the reigning champion. He won the contest in '85. Who beat Michael Jordan. Back in the 80s, it was like more of
Oh, yeah. Dude, I didn't
was.
see the 85 one. He beat Michael Jordan 85 and then went to 87 or was it 88, the one that was in Chicago? There was the
It was 88.
oh yeah, the All-Star game in 88 and it was another duel between Dominique Wilkins and Jordan, and that's the one where he did the one from the free throw line and just dunked it all.
Yeah.
And now the stars don't really, it's more second tier guys.
Dude, I saw this dude the other day on a TikTok video. He shot a 3, and while the ball went through the 3 and it kind of hung in the net, and then he grabs it, puts it underneath his legs, and dunks it,
Dunks
dude.
it again. I saw the same one.
Dude, that's a 5-pointer, dude. Like, that's insane, dude.
But an interesting caveat to that,
But a 5'7" guy wouldn't have done that.
20 years later,
Yeah.
in 2006, 5'9" Nate Robinson won the 2006 slam dunk
Oh,
contest.
well, how about
And
that?
he did it by bringing Spud Webb out of the crowd and jumping over him.
There we go.
All right.
Pretty wild. Well, here we go. So we've chatted a lot about a lot of things today, but you know what? And we ate food right at the beginning of the show, and I'm almost hungry again. What else we got for us today?
Well, I tell you what, we've got a great episode or segment, I guess, from our great friend, the South Chicago chef, Nick Farr. Nick's going to take you on a backyard tour of his Gilbert, Arizona home. And guys and gals, if you love to cook outdoors, you have got to see Nick's backyard. He's got an amazing array from spits to pizza ovens to grills to smokers to everything. Nick's going to give us a hell of a tour right here, and you're going to see a little bit of food. But what I like about it, Travis, he's showing us all the tools and the apparati that he's going to be using on upcoming segments. So,
And you can also see some of those too on his TikTok channel. I was watching some of his TikToks and I was laughing my ass off. That dude is legitimately hilarious. I'm so glad he's part of this family now because
Big time.
he's part of all of us ass clowns.
he is. And he's also the guy that actually taught me how to make chicken cutlets the right way. So, let's go out and see what Nick's up to. And Nick, give us a tour of your backyard.
What's up, fan base? It is Super Bowl time, and today I'm going to introduce you to my backyard, and I'm going to give you some must-dos for your Super Bowl party when it comes to cooking. I also got to pay homage to the best play ever in the Super Bowl. The Chicago Bears, Devin Hester, runs back the opening kickoff, and then the Bears lose. Let's get to it. One of the pride and joys in the backyard, the pizza oven. One tip for the pizza oven. Can I give it to you? Don't start the fire with this. Start the fire with this and then put this on there. Make sure to leave those coals in there so that fire brick stays hot when you're done. We're going to be seeing this on the fan base shortly. We're not going to reshoot that. That almost went in. But the best thing about having a pellet smoker is you can walk away from it. It maintains its temperature. Let me introduce you to a pellet smoker and give you one really good tip for your pork butts on Super Bowl. I call this the community flat top. As you can see here, we got 6 or 7 seats around the teppanyaki table. This is when everyone wants to watch the chef get down. But if you got one of those Blackstones, and I know they're really popular right now, number one thing for me is let them get hot, but not too hot. Start it off on medium, 15 minutes, they're ready to cook. All right, fan base, guys back in the studio, you know what I got in the backyard. What I want to know is, what should I be cooking? Which appliance do you want to see me use? Make sure you drop a comment on this video and let me know. What do you want to see the South Chicago chef cook? Let's do it. Happy Super Bowl. Sorry, guys. Saquon 2+ touchdowns. MVP. Eagles take this one. Controversial.
Hey, Nick, thank you. That is a kick-ass backyard, and we're excited to see what you got coming for us. I hope to see that avocado de pico secret concoction you got coming up on a
What? That sounds amazing.
Dude, wait till you see it on top of a burger.
Oh, man.
But hey, we had a little food. Now it's time for a little drink. In our Cocktail of the Week segment, we've got the Big Easy Bourbon Punch in honor of the Super Bowl. Ooh. And so let's go see what our friends here at Chapel's Sports Bar Museum have got for us. We're going to watch them make it, and then you and I...
We're going to drink it.
Get to drink it. Hey, we're here at Chapel's. This is our big dog, Chris, working the bar. He's going to be making our Cocktail of the Week, which is the Big Easy Bourbon Punch. So I'm going to get out of your way.
Right on.
Chef Maestro, it's all yours.
Yeah, right. All right. Glass, ice, whiskey.
Whiskey.
The more the better, whiskey. A little bit of soda. Some lemon juice. Fresh squeeze, of course.
And it's important that you really squeeze that fruit.
You got to get the good stuff out of there. Little bit of pineapple juice.
Pineapple juice is a great mixer in cocktails because it helps bring out some of the acid and the flavor.
And what I'm going to use is a little bit of pomegranate grenadine.
Ooh.
Just to top it off.
Give you that chief red color.
Right, exactly. So I got glasses already. Ice.
Got to have that orange.
You got to make it look pretty, right?
Well, it looks really beautiful.
Oh yeah, make them look real nice. Orange, little cherry.
Look at that, it's all fancy.
Shake it up.
What's it called?
This is the Big Easy Bourbon Punch.
Big Easy Bourbon Punch.
Bourbon Punch.
Look at that, it's got a little chiefy color to it. We'll give Moser the kid version.
All right. Came up just a little short, didn't it?
I've been hearing that all my life.
Yeah. We're gonna do a little umbrella in there.
Oh yes.
Every time I see this umbrella, I always think about the movie The Jerk.
All right.
I feel like I'm in Mexico on vacation because it's 18 degrees outside right now.
These are a little more difficult than I expected. There we go. All right.
Cool. Got the Big Easy
We got
Bourbon
a couple
Punch.
Big Easy Bourbon Punch.
All I ever wanted as a Chiefs fan was to go to a Super Bowl. To go to one. Winning one was the icing on the top. So in Super Bowl 54, the Chiefs won the Super Bowl. I finally see them go to a Super Bowl, and they win a Super Bowl.
Right?
Then they go back the next year, they lose the Super Bowl. Oh, man, I made me not happy about that. Next year, I buy Super Bowl tickets. My son and I were at the AFC Championship. We're up 21-3 versus the Bengals. I'm talking shit to Bengals fans. I'm like, hey, at least you made it this far, guys. Good
Congrats.
job.
Good job,
And
Johnny.
then we lost. I had to sell the Super Bowl tickets. Lost a ton on that deal. Don't ever buy Super Bowl tickets ahead of time.
But hey, it's time for our picks. Great episode tonight. Great commentary. Fat Pit, what do you got? What do you see it?
So I have ran this through multiple AI. What's peculiar is that it's always come up 24-20. Well, that's the number that comes up most often, 24-20. It says that most likely it's not over 45 points is what the simulations that I was running. Now I've had it on sometimes it was running with the Chiefs winning and then sometimes with the Eagles winning. And so I would say that it's very possible that the Eagles can pull this game off. There's no doubt. They're in the Super Bowl. They can win this thing. My heart says, man, I'd love the Chiefs to win, so I'm pulling for the Chiefs. But I'm not going to tell you who I think the score, who wins or not. I'm going to tell you it's going to be 24-20, and you pick it.
Well, I'll put my nuts on the table. Chiefs are going to go home with a three-peat. 24-20. Mahomes is the MVP, and I cannot wait to see the faces that Nick Sirianni makes as the Eagles head coach.
Dude, that would be magical, wouldn't it? What do you think, Mo?
Neither would surprise me. I don't know. I think the Eagles have a slightly better team, but
You have a score?
You got a score?
probably in the 20s, like you said.
Probably in the 20s. I think Spags can put it on him. I think Spags can get him to do what they want to do. Spags can do work magic, dude. He's always finds ways to make magical things happen. And so I'll go ahead and go out on a limb. I'll say it's the Chiefs that win. I mean 24 to 21 would probably
Sound about right for you?
It would make sense. But dude, I could see him being in the 30s too. I mean, it just depends on so many factors. And I'm not always great at betting. That's why we have Coach Sarge.
That's why we got the Sarge. But
yeah,
for those that think this is a Chiefs Homer podcast, we've got one of our guys who's picked the Eagles. The two fat guys over here, we're going with the Chiefs. We appreciate you watching us here in episode 4 and making this a great podcast. We've got some exciting episodes planned for you. Baseball's right around the corner. And for all you neophytes out there, we're working on a special Harry Carey edition.
We are?
We are.
This is new news.
This is news to him.
New news. Wait, that's somebody else already does that.
Oh, yeah, I can't do that. It's copyright infringement. So it's new news. But yeah, we got a Harry Carey one coming up. We got to do something for the Chicago guy, Nick.
Right.
We got to get him a part of this. And actually, Nick wants to be here at Chapels with us filming here in the near future. So we'll see if we can pull that one off. But
yeah, maybe when it gets a little bit warmer, he can do some grilling in your backyard.
we can go on remote up into the country.
Yeah.
So it'll be fun.
Very nice. Well, I appreciate it. Thank you so much for tuning in. Let's do another episode. Let's let crazy fans talk. There's a lot of stuff in the pipeline because there's some really cool stuff that's happening with technology that we're going to be in a key part of. And so we really want to share that with you. And because my background is in marketing, his background's in marketing. I've been in the crypto space for going on 8 years. And there's a lot of stuff and a lot of layover and a lot of connectivity that happens between the two. So the early adopters who are paying attention to this now will be rewarded later on. So make sure to subscribe, comment, connect with us on all the social medias.
Yep.
Let your voice be heard. It will be beneficial to you later on.
Agree. And if you really just listen to what Travis said and his background and being an early adopter and paying attention,
It's a good idea to pay attention.
I'd pay attention because we're not going anywhere. We're not done. We're only going to get better and stronger.
I'm about to go to the bathroom.
See you at episode 5.
In the bathroom.
In a kingdom painted red and gold, where the echoes of legends never grow old. A gunslinger rose, fire in his eyes, lightning in his arms.